We are at the official, this is it, we're at Windsor Castle
home
here
of the
today,
wedding.
the home of the wedding. There's a lot of tourists around. This is massive. I think there's a lot more than there was with Will and Kate's wedding.
Yep.
And one man that's going to help us out, give us a bit more information, official butler, worked with Prince Charles for a very, very long time. Grant Harold, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no,
Grant,
that's all right.
This is amazing. I mean, I've never seen a castle like this close up. Behind us, what is that the chapel through there? Explain what we're seeing here.
Straight through there is the actual chapel where the wedding will take place. But the thing that people don't realise about the castle, the Queen doesn't live in all of it. Her apartments are in that direction.
Okay.
Where there's a kind of community that actually stays here as well. So it's quite a big.
So how many
place.
people would live in the castle in this place?
I would hate to even guess.
Really?
I mean, it is a proper community. I mean, when I used to work here, you'd walk round, you see people walking their dogs, just have them. There'd be children around. It's always been a working castle and a working community.
Yeah, sure.
But it's the same with a lot of the royal residences. Personal staff get to live in other residences as well.
Right,
So
okay.
it's a good way of giving accommodation.
Grant, we're hearing planes every couple of minutes. Have they confirmed yet if they're going to stop them? Because this is very distracting.
It is distracting, and I did actually hear that they are going to. I think they're going to probably divert the flight path slightly,
Right.
which
God.
I think would be a good idea.
Yeah,
but,
unless you're coming from Australia and you've already been on the plane for
Well,
24 hours
that's
and
the
they
only
send you on a
thing.
2-hour loop.
Hopefully they won't send you via Scotland, so you
Fingers
should,
crossed.
you should be okay.
But Grant, the other question is too, I mean, when you spoke on the show not long ago, you told us about the very romantic waltz that you did with the Queen.
Yes.
Was this within these walls,
No,
or was
sadly it wasn't.
Where was
within
that?
these walls, I attended the wedding of the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall.
Yeah.
So I have
right.
actually been to a wedding here before.
Right.
But the dance of the Queen, that was in Scotland at Balmoral Castle,
And
where I was tested.
Very
on my-
hard to
my
sneak a
dancing.
girl over the walls, isn't it?
I don't think you're going to have much luck, actually. I think
No.
even if you got over the wall, you've got all the
Yep.
security.
Oh,
So.
of course, yes. You were just saying before, the amount of people and tourists around here is ridiculous. Is there more hysteria to this than there was with Will and Kate?
I think so, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it was London, which is a very different situation.
Yeah.
Where Windsor's obviously a smaller place.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of people around already, and we've still got a couple of days to the wedding, so I think it's going to get even busier.
Grant, you've obviously spent time with the royals intimately. How do you think behind closed doors they'd be reacting to what is being dubbed the Markle debacle?
I know. I heard about this today as well. I think the reality is it's difficult with any kind of wedding. You do have situations that can arise, that can come up. People suddenly don't want to attend for various reasons. And I think, as Kensington Palace have asked for privacy, I think that's quite sensible, because it's obviously a very private thing that they've got to sort themselves, whatever the truth might be of the matter.
Yeah,
Because you wonder, Grant, how big is the conversation regarding her and the family, what's happened? I don't think it would reach the Queen, but internally, they must be running around like headless chooks trying to make this look good.
I mean, with a royal wedding, planning and everything is really important. And you don't really need something going wrong at the last minute. So I mean, the thing is, I'm sure they're trying to keep it all very calm and trying to sort the situation out. It might not be as bad as we think.
Okay.
That's the only thing.
Did Prince Charles ever get flustered with you over the years?
No,
he
actually
was
not
always
once. Not once.
Not once?
I must have done something right. No,
Did he ever raise his voice?
No, not once. In fact, I'm very proud of that. Not one of my employers in 20 odd years has ever raised their voice. So either I've gone very deaf or I'm doing something.
Did you ever hear him swear,
No,
Grant?
good God, no.
Never swears?
No, not at all.
Not even a bloody?
Not even
Yeah,
a
what
bloody.
is their version of losing their cool?
Yeah.
Well, I think in the UK we're quite famous that if you lose your temper, you use other words. So
Yeah.
Like what, like
Yeah.
bollocks?
Blast.
Or
Yeah,
or
gosh,
or
Dash.
posh spice, or
Probably
something
not
like
Posh
that.
Spice, but
Gosh
So-
doesn't really have a bite to it, does it, in a bad moment?
Golly and gosh, I can't believe
Yeah.
this.
It does work when you do it. It's quite catchy. You'll find yourselves going back now to Australia, and you'll be using all these.
Oh,
gosh, did
Oh
I
my
just
gosh.
stub my toe?
Gosh. What about you talking about being at Charles and Diana's wedding, which was set here?
It was. So I'm just going to say Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, I was
Come
a
on,
bit.
Wippa.
I'm
Did
not
I get that
old.
wrong?
I'm not quite that old. I'd have to be.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, you're very
I'd
fresh
be
So it
faced.
rolling
was
in
Charles
the
and
gates.
Camilla.
Yes.
You're right,
Absolutely.
okay. And
Prince Wales.
I mean, do they, like every other wedding, does everybody, they do the I-dos, and then do they go outside and leave everyone for half an hour of photos? Or
Well, it was slightly different because the Guildhall was where they actually had the ceremony, and then up here was, if you like, the blessing. And that's where you had the royal family and invited guests. You can only fit, I think it's about 600 in the chapel. So
Yeah.
I was quite honoured to be invited, and the request actually came via Clarence House via the Prince of Wales
Wow.
and the Duchess, because I hadn't been working for them long enough to be invited.
Yes.
You had to have done, I think it was 12 months, and I was about 10 months. So the request actually came from themselves.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I was quite honoured, and to be in there for a royal wedding is quite a special
Oh,
occasion.
so
And what
special.
kind of, like they Yellow Glen champagne and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
what do they
or do
put on?
what
Chicken
kind of
sandwiches?
From what I remember, there was champagne, there was canapes. I think there was sandwiches, finger sandwiches.
Yeah,
It
lovely.
was very kind of light food. I understand with this wedding, we're talking about bowl food, which is obviously a slightly different.
And it's
Wait,
a stand-up,
is that-
Grant.
And it's stand
And I am
Is that what
disgusted
they're
by that.
hunting their own meat out the back and bring it
Hopefully
in?
not.
Or no?
I'm hoping that they're not. No, it will be locally sourced.
Yes.
You're right about that. It will be locally sourced, but hopefully they're not actually hunting. It's not.
Did
the
you
kinds
ever
of
go
Henry
hunting
VIII.
with Prince Charles?
No.
No, Grant.
No, I
right.
don't think that'd be a good idea.
Nah.
Actually, can you imagine me? I'd get muck on me and.
Oh, Dash.
I don't know
Dirty
how to get
shoes.
these shoes polished
Dash
up.
and
I mean, it would
gosh,
take
I'd
forever.
say,
It'd be a
sis.
Gosh,
nightmare.
I've been
But, you know,
shocked, Charles.
do you know much about the history of this place? All I can picture is, the arches up here in the tower, and these
I
days
mean-
it wouldn't be as active. I think you still occasionally see one if the main menu hasn't come
Yeah,
at
what's the
McDonald's.
most
but-
interesting thing about Windsor Castle that we
Well,
would find
I mean,
fascinating?
the most interesting, probably one of the saddest parts, was back in the early 90s when we had the fire here, the fire
Oh,
of Windsor.
that's right.
And that's what resulted in Buckingham Palace being open to the public,
Right.
obviously to raise the funds to restore it. And if you actually go around the castle, it's amazing because some of the rooms, you see how they look.
Oh, good
Good
on you,
buddy.
brother. Good on you, mate.
You can pick them anywhere.
Do you know those people?
Gosh and dash.
Yes.
No, I think when you see how they've rebuilt it and they've done it in the same style, it's amazing the craftsmanship in there when you actually walk around and look
Yeah, I
at it
bet.
and put it back. And the actual hall, we had the reception. I mean, that was St George's Hall was rebuilt. I mean, it's extraordinary. So that's probably one thing. And let's not forget,
It's
got
huge.
It's huge. I think I'm right in saying it's one of the largest inhabited castles in Europe. I don't
Right.
know why the world, but as far as I know, in Europe. But you can understand why. I mean, you don't want to forget something if you're leaving because you've got a long way to
Oh,
walk back.
If you're doing DVD night here,
Can you imagine?
and you've left your
And the
mobile
kitchen's
phone,
up there.
Oh, the
Oh,
popcorn
mate.
is the other side.
Yeah.
Take a
It'd be
horse.
Nightmare. It wouldn't be good. You would probably want to take a horse. You need a car.
Well,
Send an Uber for the popcorn.
well, Grant, we know how busy you are leading up to the royal wedding. What are you actually doing on the day? Are you reporting? or
I'm
what-
actually, well, funny enough, I've actually, a friend has invited me as a guest.
Oh.
So I'm not actually going into
Ah.
the chapel, but there's going to be an area within there that we can actually
Oh,
watch,
wow.
the actual, everything that's happening. I think the ceremony is going to be broadcast as well. So it gives us a chance to kind of be part of it.
So
but
we can maybe ring you on the day and get
Absolutely.
an update while you're in the wedding.
Yeah.
but
That's
I
all.
might have to have
Imagine.
I'll have to have my phone off. That's the only thing. They're very
Yeah.
strict
Oh,
with the
just
rules.
on silent. Come on.
On silent.
Just on
Yeah.
But
silent.
I'm also working with a couple of British networks as well, so
Okay.
I'll be doing the odd little bit of commentating at the same time. So it's going to be
Have
a
fun.
busy day.
Well, it's very exciting times, mate.
It
Very
really
exciting.
is. It really is.
Well, we appreciate you coming on our show leading up to the royal wedding. And Grant, you've been on a few times. You're a good mate of ours. We thank you very
I
much.
love coming on the show. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks,
and
Grant.
great to see you over here at last.
Yeah,
Having
you
a good
too.
time.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
great.
let's go smash a few pints.
Thanks, mate.
Sounds interesting. Do you have gin and
Very
tonic?
good.
Fitzy and Wippa, live from London for the royal wedding.